I would like to apologize in advance for being so salty in this video. I don't know what triggers me so much, but apparently when people hate my books, I can't control myself. So I said it. I'm sorry if I offended anyone. You can like your own pick books and have your own opinions. It's all good. Just wanted to start this video by saying that. I hope you enjoy my mess of a self. Hello friends, my name is Lauren and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I've actually wanted to film this video for like a long time. I think I filmed it once but it didn't end up working out properly. But quite a few months ago, I saw reading negative reviews of my favorite books by Paperback Dreams, and I loved that video and it was so fun to see her get so heated over these comments, and I'm like, I need to do that. So that's essentially what we're doing today. I've skimmed through Goodreads and I've picked out a couple of reviews. I just skimmed through them, see how long they were and what kind of rating I saw. If this video goes all to plan, I'm gonna have 3 books to share with you guys today: A Darker Shade of Magic, The Hunger Games, and Red Queen. And without further ado, let's get the hate and roast session started, shall we? I'm just gonna be holding up my laptop and reading some of the reviews, so if you see me looking down here, that is why. We're gonna start off with A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. Personally for me, I gave this series in general, but this book specifically, 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it with all of my heart. It was practically perfection and I just loved it so much, and so I'm interested to see what people are going to say about it. I kind of know one character is kind of hated. You either love them or you hate them, but personally I loved them, so we're going to see what people have to say. So first up, the first review is for 2.5 stars and it says, "I'll be honest, I expected to like this book. No, I actually expected to love this book and it thoroughly disappointed me. I honestly don't understand why everyone has rated it so highly. Because it's amazing. I really liked the world that Schwab built. It had all the makings of being very interesting, but for some reason it just fell flat for me." Okay, I also really liked the world she built, but I don't think it fell flat. In case you don't know, we follow basically a magician, and his name is Cal. In this world, he's called an Antari, but basically there are 4 Londons in like alternate universes. So there's Grey London, which is like our London. There's Red London, which is like full of magic. There's Grey London, which is losing its color and its magic and overall happiness of the people. And then there's Black London, which like no longer exists because it got eaten up by dark magic. And so I just find that so cool, and every time Cal would visit like the different Londons, I was like, man, that's so cool, because like you're visiting different worlds that are all similar to each other. I loved it. I didn't really care about any of the characters until about 85% of the way through, when I actually became intrigued by Lila. The only character that really intrigued me throughout was Holland, but personally I think this entire book would have been better if it had been told from his perspective. Alright, so I'm glad this person likes Lila because I also love Lila. I think she's super awesome. There's so many layers to her personality. We know her dreams and goals like right from the beginning of what she wants. She wants to be a pirate, and it's so cool because like I feel like that's such an uncommon thing to wish for, and it was just caught my attention right from the beginning. Holland is a great character, especially if you make it to A Conjuring of Light, which is the 3rd and final book in the trilogy. You're gonna love Holland even more. Cal didn't interest me. He seemed like your run-of-the-mill fantasy heroes with a knack for magic and who's good with a sword. Cal's my child, like, you know, he's just so pure, and like how can you not love Cal, you know? Like, he's just amazing, and the way he interacts with people and what he does, I think he's a great protagonist for the story, but him and Lila both, and I honestly love them. Lila was the book's only saving grace, but again, I didn't really even start to be interested in her until I almost finished the book. I thought Lila was cool from the beginning, so I can't even relate to that. I don't know, maybe it was just too YA for me. I haven't been able to stomach YA lately, blah blah blah. Alright, so this person's not into YA, but technically this is an adult fantasy book, but I do tend to agree that it does tend to read like a YA more or less. There are some elements that are different, but I definitely understand the appeal to that. So, you know, like, you're not fully wrong, but like, there's a couple things that Anyways, the next one. So I don't know the review for this one because I cut it off, but I believe it's 2-star. So the positives: easy to read and interesting concept. Facts, you know? The main sticking points: there are light spoilers. Okay, I'll skip over the spoilers. The bland writing, it is just so okay that it's almost offensive. I love her writing. I think the way she writes each point of view of her characters is done so well, and the way we see each character speak, I honestly think it's so good. Her writing is great, and I disagree, okay? Lila is dumb and young, which maybe it explains it. I think she's meant to be like 17 or something, but oh my god, does it make it an agonizing read. Impulsive and just plain thick. She's presented as this streetwise street thief, yet doesn't have the basic street common sense to not give her real name out to dangerous figures, or have basic common sense about potentially dangerous unknown objects, etc. with mystical powers. Come on. Okay, this girl, there's like this iconic quote, it's like, I'd rather die on an adventure than live standing still. Lila's done with her life, okay? She wants anything that's exciting, so I don't think it's out of her character at all for her to want something like this. Next one, 2.5 stars. 1, it took me 5 months to finish this book. Okay, if you take 5 months to finish a book, you're not reading that book, okay? It's not a priority to you. I think if you read any book over the course of 5 months, you're not gonna like it because you're gonna forget all the intricate details of the story. If you finish the book over a month, then you're probably fine. Like right now, I'm reading Spin the Dawn, and I think I've been reading it for like 2 months, and I do plan on finishing it. I do like the story, but just because I'm taking such a long time with it, I already know it's not gonna be a 5-star book, because if it was a 5-star book, I would have finished it by now. Like if I really wanted to read it, I would not finish. I could take less time than 5 months, okay? It put me in a reading slump when I started it, okay, but like did it, or were you already in a reading slump? Nothing happened until the last 100 pages. Nothing. Okay, that's not true. We meet our protagonists. They travel the different worlds of London. We see the backstory for Kel and his upbringing, how he doesn't know. We see Lila. She like burned. Okay, we see so many things. So, shh. The only character I found pretty interesting was Astrid. The Dane twins were scary, okay? Like, they were whack, but like, they were interesting, but like, oh my god. Oh, I forgot the last one. The main characters felt quite flat, especially Lila. Okay, Lila's not flat. She's amazing, okay? Fight me. Fight me, okay? You know, people irk me sometimes. Like, I understand everyone has their own opinions and they're allowed to do what they want, but like, I don't understand, like, this is like my favorite series, I think, like, right now, and so I love it, okay? And I know everyone has the right to their own opinion, which is all good, but like, Lila was great, and so many things happened, and you can't deny that the magic is awesome, okay? Like, the worlds are so cool. Like, if you call the worlds not cool, I don't know. I feel like that's just like, you're being rude for no reason, because we literally see like 4 different places of the same, I don't know, it's so cool. Okay, next one. We're gonna jump onto one of my favorites, which is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. So, this was a 1-star review. One good plot idea and a whole lot of cheesy. The movie was much better, though not great. The movie was not better, the book's better. Too bad. I could discuss it in detail. The narrative is childish. Okay, the narrative is written for younger audiences, but it's not childish because I read it over the summer, and while I do think the writing is more simple than some of the other like YA books that I read and stuff, it makes sense with the story because the protagonist is 16 years old, and so a couple months ago I was 16, and so I understand where the protagonist is coming from because she volunteered for her sister to go into this thing, and like she's not like a full-grown adult. Like obviously you're gonna be scared and have to prioritize certain things, and that's why it makes sense why the writing is simple, and it's meant for like younger people too. It makes sense, okay? The predominant presence of nudity is even more childish. I think there's like one thing at like the tribute parade, and then like one thing with like Peeta. Obviously she's gonna feel uncomfortable. Okay, she's 16 years old and never had done anything before. Like, what do you want from her? The actual discussion of society and issues are very cowardly and vague. The depiction of poverty flat out silly. I mean, it's not supposed to be fully realistic to the real world, but like, I think it made sense in my own opinion. I know poor people aren't like Katniss and Prim. Seriously, Prim is scared of needles. Doesn't she sew? No, she doesn't. So there's that. Katniss tears animals up all the time but could barely stand it when tending Peeta's wounds. That's different. Okay, like, I understand where Katniss is coming from, because like she did that stuff to survive and she got used to it, and it's not the same as killing a human. Like in our world today, if you kill an animal versus a human, if you kill a human, you're going to jail for 25 years. If you kill an animal, maybe you have to pay a fine. I think there's a difference. I could go on and on talking, but I won't, because this book isn't about issues or society or the poor. This is a romance novel. Okay, no it's not, okay? The movies, it's more romancy. In the books, it's not. It's mostly about Katniss and her journey through the Hunger Games. The romance is a side plot 100%. Like, you can't even fight me on this. I read it over the summer. I know what I'm talking about, at least in my own opinion. The only romance that comes in is Katniss, like, when the star-crossed lover thing starts to happen in the games, that's only the romance we see, and it's still a side element because it's still focused on Katniss. It's not really focused on Peeta. He's just there. He's also happening, but we're still focusing on Katniss trying to survive. you know? I disagree with that one significantly, but like, it's fine. All right, next one, a 1-star review again, oh god. I recommend this book to people aged 14 to 20. I don't know, I feel like it's more aimed for younger audience, but to each their own. It is full of action and violence presented as a reality show. However, I couldn't finish this book. Okay, so it doesn't say when they couldn't finish the book, but I hate when people make reviews on books when they said they read like 20% and they couldn't read anymore. Like, you don't know. Like, if you give a book a 1-star because the first 20% of the book isn't good, I feel like that's like not an accurate review of the book. Like, this is kind of a controversial opinion, but for people at DNF books, if you read like 80% of the book or above 50%, like, I feel like you like earn the right to like talk about the book, like make a full review on it. If you did less than that, like, you can say like, yeah, I didn't finish the book because I didn't like it, but you don't have to go on and on and on about why you didn't like the first 30% of the book, because I feel for some books at least you need the build up to really understand like what's going on, and even though it might not be super interesting at the beginning, it might really pay off towards the end. So like A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab, my favorite in the trilogy, the beginning is slow. Like the first 100 pages, you gotta try your best to get through the book. But everything else in the book makes it so worth it. Makes it so worth it that it just, oh, I don't know. The little tidbit there. It lacks deeper meaning. It may have had been 2 or 3 messages, but nothing extraordinary. Only about poverty and government control and sisterly relationships, family relationships, romantic relationships. Those don't count. Okay. The story is very simple. Teenagers are being paired for the games, and then we watch them killing each other. Yes, but the plot doesn't have to take place on Mars and all these different things happening. Have you ever read a contemporary story? All they follow are 2 people loving each other. That's the plot. Like, you know? Author's writing style is rather weak. There is no metaphors, wordplay, just ordinary language similar to that of Harry Potter. Okay, like, I don't think her writing style is weak. I think it's just meant for a younger audience, and so for that reason I understand where they're coming from, but like, still, I wouldn't call it weak. It is true that Katniss is not a typical weak woman, but her character is underdeveloped, static, and simple. She volunteers to participate in the games instead of her sister, but it seems that during the preparation time, instead of fearing her almost certain death and evaluating her life, all that matters to her is eating, eating, eating. Okay, Katniss is amazing, okay, because so much in YA, there's like the typical like girl who's like dumb, okay, and so, you know, that sucks, and then we see Katniss and she's like awesome, so that's super cool to see. But she's not underdeveloped, static, or simple, okay? She has different relationships. We see her internal thoughts and processes and how much she like loves her sister, and when she goes to the game, she comforts her, and then she has to make a split-second decision to do this for her, and I don't know, she's definitely not static or simple. I feel we understand why her motives and how she feels in life is all understandable, and so I disagree with that. And okay, if you grow up in District 12, which is like the worst district out of all of them, and you don't have a lot of food all your life, and all of a sudden you're given like the best food ever for like a week, are you just not gonna focus on eating a bit, you know? And also, if you have the games, you need energy, like, I don't know, like, shut up. No, this is wrong. It's a 5-star book, in my personal opinion. Sorry, but like, next, let's jump into Red Queen, shall we? I'm sure if it's great if you liked Red Rising. I did not like Red Rising. Okay, I didn't like Red Rising either, but I like Red Queen, just saying. DNF this book around the 20% mark. Okay, here we go again. Like I just said, if you DNF a book at the 20% mark, how much do you really know about the story? Like, just doing some quick math here, I think 76 pages. So let's just round it up, and let's say you read 80 pages. 80 pages of a novel is like you can get some feelings from it, but you can't understand everything the world is. Like, let's say it's a huge world. Let's say there's so much more to uncover. If you only read 80 pages, how much are you really gonna understand and know? Like, not that much. So if you read 20%, like, I don't know. Not an accurate review, I feel. But she says, I hated the main character, stupid, selfish, destructive brat intent on destroying the lives of her loved ones with all the makings of a special snowflake. She's not all those things, okay? She is, like, she has an attitude, that's for sure, and it's kind of funny to read about. I understand sometimes it could be too much, but she's had like a hard life growing up, okay? This is a similar thing, like the poverty, like low income kind of thing, and I understand that, but the jealousy she has plays into who she is of her sister. She has taught to like steal for everything she has, so it's understandable of why she is the way she is. And it's understandable due to the world she's in as well. And so I don't think it's
super crazy, and also like the special snowflake thing. It's just because like she feels like a disappointment to her family. So obviously she wants to do well, but then on the other hand she doesn't know how. So it's the balance between that. I cannot stand selfishness when it involves harming the lives of innocents. I cannot tolerate this character. I can't finish this book. It's been a month since I tried to read on and it's just pointless. Like, she doesn't harm the lives of like innocence, you know, like not in the 20% mark at least. Like, what is she doing? 2.5 stars. I didn't like it enough to round up to 3. No, I didn't like this book. A little development there was in character revealed shelved and unpleasant people or people I just didn't care about. Was the main character confused or was the author? Well, learning you have powers in this power hungry world is probably gonna be a big shock. Just saying. The events in the story were insta fantasy. What is insta fantasy? Is it like it's fantasy or it's not? It's fantasy. Obviously there's gonna be fantasy in a fantasy novel. Insta princess. Okay, yeah, but it makes sense in the story. Insta powers. That's a cool trope though. Like finding out you have powers, I like that. Insta revolution. That's something that shows up in the novel, but in this book at least, like it's done so well and it plays such a huge part in the story. Like I think it's so well done. Alright, this is a longer one, but we're just gonna skip to a couple parts in it. So it's a 2.5 stars. I was hoping this would be a solid 3-star read, even with all the Hunger Games and Divergent vibe. If we have to compare, this was better than Divergent. Better because we know that by the end of the first book that our main character isn't as totally super special as we were led to believe in the beginning. This was definitely drawing on Hunger Games. At some points, Maven and Mare totally felt like Peeta and Katniss. Nah, I kind of disagree with that. It's more lovey in Red Queen. Also, can we talk about the minor inconsistencies here? We're told that Silvers are cold, yet every time she's around Cal, Mare feels her heat. Okay, she means cold as in like cold personality, but his powers like fire, so obviously he's gonna be warm, okay? Like, I also like the whole Marina thing got thrown out the window at one point because I'm pretty sure they referred to her as Mare in front of Evangeline. I think my overall problem with this book, aside from the unignorable vibes, was that I just didn't like the characters, except for Julian, Walsh, and Farley. Farley I didn't like so much as appreciate because she's not very likable. That's true. Farley's not very likable, but she's a good character. The other, no, I like this book. Stop hating on my child. Personally, I need to reread this book before I give my final opinions on it, but you know, I really liked it. Not gonna lie, like I thought it was great. I like the settings, the powers are epic, and if you have anything negative to say about that, I'm sorry, but like, stop. And yeah, that's me reading some negative reviews of my favorite books. I have to say, those 3 series are some of my all-time favorites, and I understand a few aspects of why people don't like them, but the fact that I gave them like 2 stars or 1 star just like hurts my soul. And I know everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but maybe their opinions are wrong. Like maybe all jokes aside, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and just because I like something doesn't mean you have to like something, so it's all okay, and we're all fine here. But if you're ever looking for a recommendation, I recommend any of the ones that I named today. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and comment down below if you like any of the books that I mentioned, or if you hate them. So let me know your thoughts below, and maybe we'll get a little heated again in the comments. But I do like hearing your guys' opinions. Just like, I think it's cool, people can like different things, and so just because I think something's really awesome doesn't mean someone else will, and it's kind of interesting to hear different opinions on it and what people think. And so for this video I picked like shorter reviews, but there's some long reviews on Goodreads, so if you want to read any like of your favorite books, there's definitely so many out there, so I hope you have some fun times with that. Anyways, I'll see you really soon with a new video, so until then, bye.